you're gonna be pissed, bro.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ryan Myers Expeditions. You guys have been asking for it. You're all like, where the heck is Justin Lee? Well, I was coming camping today with Sam, and Justin decided to pop in, do a dive with us. What are we doing today?
We're gonna go try and just do some deeper drops.
Deep drops? Ukus?
There's nothing really on the menu,
Oh.
so we just want to go have some fun. You know, it's nice having a guy like this with nice little boobies
Get out of here.
to watch my back, and I'll watch his, and we'll do some deeper drops and
going deep.
hopefully get some nice fish.
Samagram is gonna take a quick nap. It's too early for Samagram.
She's very thrilled to be
She's
here.
very
right
excited
now.
to be here. But she's gonna take a quick nap in the car. Then we're gonna camp here. Then we're gonna do another dive in the morning. Justin, what are you shooting today? What's your gun?
I'm gonna shoot the Pathos Super Laser Pro thing. I don't know, it's like a roller and a half. Pretty cool. I shot it a couple of times. I don't know.
A roller and a half is a great.
Is that a roller and a half?
I mean, I guess I've never heard it described like that, but it is a roller and a half. It has a roller and a half.
I've shot a big Olua the other day, and I didn't exactly stone him with my trusty Aim Right Rage, and so it's got a bent shaft, and now I'm gonna try out some new gear.
Let's do it.
Pretty excited.
So you got the 115, that's the enclosed track sniper.
Yes.
Roller and a half, apparently. I'm gonna shoot the 110 laser. This is the carbon non-enclosed track. It's got just a rail on it. It is, again, a roller and a half. So part blue water guns, part reef guns. Again, some of those guns that you can kind of do both with. This is gonna be a freaking awesome trip. Stick around, like this video right now, and we will see you guys in the water.
So it's always a pleasure anytime I get to dive with one of my really capable buddies. You know, Justin Lee, Ben Zyons, a lot of these guys that are just so comfortable out there in 100 feet. Like, I know that there's no worries in the world. We're gonna charge it straight out there to 100 feet where a lot more of that Uku territory and Ono territory is. And then we're just gonna have a really good, calm, safe day, watching each other, diving deep and looking for big fish. So that was what the whole plan was for this day here. This is my first freaking drop of the day, guys. We swam straight out and straight to 100 feet, do my first drop there with that 110, get down to the bottom, find my little bouldery stuff right on the edge of the reef, tuck down in, get my kind of slightly elevated position in front of me so I have my body kind of halfway up on this boulder, and immediately was charged by this Uku. Now this thing came so close on its first pass, and I had plenty of time. Unfortunately, stuck this thing just a little bit back and high. So that back and high shot is just about a ½ inch away from a stone shot, but still held, but definitely has a chance of ripping out. So I know that I need to play this thing just gently enough to keep it away from those rocks, but not rip that thing out until I can get my buddy Justin to get it back down there and get another shot. And what's really cool about this is, again, when you're diving with that buddy that you guys know each other so well and you're both on such a professional level, that when I hit the surface and he sees that I'm playing this fish really gently, I don't have to talk to him, I don't have to motion to him, I don't have to do a thing. He knows that that fish may not be hit that well, and he's gonna charge back down to the bottom, check out the situation, and give another shot if needed, and that's exactly what he did. Heck of a start to this weekend. Literally first dive of the entire trip, and I got this beautiful Uku on the stringer. So depending on who you asked, either the current switched or somebody made a miscalculation. But either way, we didn't have real productive drift, just that one Uku. But on the way in, I saw the freaking unicorn that I'm always looking for. I was swimming in, chilling, and I saw this freaking no-who just hop up off the bottom and move a few feet, and I was like, that's all I need. I spotted you, I can see you, you're coming home to dinner with me, and I've only ever eaten one of these before, so I was so freaking pumped to bump into one of these, and I knew that this kind of areas are where they live, and I don't get to dive these kind of areas that often, and this was actually one of my target fish for this trip. I was looking for these the whole way in and the whole way out. Whenever I'm swimming across the bottom, I'm always looking down, scanning, looking for this exact fish, and I was so freaking pumped to find it today.
All right, Justin, how was that dive?
I've had better, not gonna lie.
I convinced him to come over here. He wanted to dive Hamakua. He literally was like, I'm swimming in, taking my wetsuit off, getting in my truck, driving all the way back to Hamakua's side to go dive. That's how much fun he just had.
We still got fish.
We got a couple fish. Nice Uku.
Ryan got this literally on his very first dive.
Like my warm-up drop.
Like, he dropped down, he didn't even make it to the bottom, and he shot it. And I was like, oh, today's gonna be epic.
It's on.
And then, what does he do? He's all like, oh, the current switches. But I'm like, I don't think the current switched. I dropped down, the fish are definitely pointed in the way the current was.
But you never said anything to me.
Well, he just took off. And, you know, I think the biggest precursor should have been, or the biggest tell should have been, you know, and Ryan can keep up with me swimming. It's with the current.
I was in front of you. I was in front of you dragging all the crap. Samagram is happily sleeping away. Check this out, guys. Look at that. How comfy is she? All she needs is a kitten. Samagram, say hi. She's still a little tired, but I'm gonna roust her from her nest and take her out diving, and then we'll see you guys again back in the water.
If you guys want to know how to upset your girlfriend, when your girlfriend is comfortable sleeping, she slept for a little bit, she greeted us when we got to the car, is wake her up 15 minutes later just to say hi to the camera. That always makes her happy.
We were so tired yesterday that we laid in the car, we took a nap, we chilled out, and then at the end of it, we were kind of too tired and bummed and close to home that we were like, you know what, let's just go home, go sleep at home. So we did that, went home, and then conditions were just so nice out here today that I immediately woke up like 5 hours later, hitched back up here with Ben. We're going deep. So the plan is 35, 40 meters, Ukus and Onos. Whenever we drift that kind of zone where you can drop the flasher and wait for those Onos to come through, but also hunt deep reef is by far my favorite anywhere in the world. We do that for doggies in Fiji, we do that in Africa for doggies and big waloos and the big mackerels that come through, and any place that you can be entertained by the deep reef while waiting for the pelagics to swim through and come up to your flasher is absolutely my favorite type of diving. I'm not a big blue water guy. Like, I don't love to sit out there for 2 days and wait for that one tuna to swim past. You know, I'd much rather wait for that fish to come past while doing 40-meter drops on the reef. We might explore a different direction here depending on which way the current's going. You know, so much of your diving has to be dependent on the conditions. You know, we can only dive here certain times of the year when it's flat, and then when you do that, even when you dive the zone, you gotta base which direction you go and how you approach it based on the current. For the most part, it's either going left or it's going right. You kind of have to have a plan before. Me and Ben just spent like a full 20 minutes sitting here discussing like, okay, well, if it's doing this, we're gonna do this. And if it's doing this hard, we're gonna do this. And maybe if it's going to the right, we can explore this new zone and maybe we can get out over there, I think, you know, and kind of get this plan, multiple plans, multiple options, because sitting here, I don't care how good you are, I'm not good enough to sit here and tell you from the shoreline exactly what is happening out there with the current. Sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not, and right now it is not. I've joked about this before, but I never make this mistake, like ever. Like the baby shampoo in my mask is required. I do not go diving without the baby shampoo in my mask. Keeps it clear, makes it soft to my skin, does the whole thing. Like I would rather go diving without a fin right now.
I'm seeing Ryan Meyer's new boat with a Johnson & Johnson sticker on the side of it.
Girl, I'll take it.
Johnson & Johnson, are you out there?
I'm like, oh my God, I forgot my baby shampoo. And I'm like, do you have any like wetsuit lube or do you? And he's like, yeah, I got plenty, bro. I got a gallon. And I was like, you got a gallon? And he's like,
what's wrong with the heavy-duty West Marine boat soap, bro?
Bro, he's about to put heavy-duty, like, this is what you use for wetsuit lube all the time?
You'll have the cleanest mask ever.
This is what he uses. I'm
right
like,
here, West Marine, check it out. Get yourself down the Kona Marine Supply.
If I miss every fish and I cannot hold my breath today, this is why.
So we got the Ben Zyons cam here, and he's rocking that paralens, so you'll have that nice depth meter over there on the right side. This guy's an absolute animal. So it's really, really cool to kind of get to watch his dives from his perspective and kind of see the way he hunts as like a 4-minute diver. Like, this dude can do 4 minutes at like 40, 50 meters. He's unbelievable. So this first dive here, he gets down to the bottom and he does kind of something that I try to avoid, which is he sees a potential target species, that kahala, that amberjack, and he kind of goes for it before he reaches the bottom. That's fine for somebody like Ben, who's a monster of a diver, but for some of you guys out there, what happens is you go for that fish, and then it doesn't work out, so you continue on your way to the bottom. Then you get to the bottom, and then you start hunting that fish from the bottom. But the problem is your mind doesn't seem to realize that you already spent 10 seconds and a bunch of energy trying to shoot that fish above the bottom. So it's just a kind of a risky maneuver. I like to either go all the way to the bottom or do a mid-water hunting dive. I try to not combine them in the same dive. Either way though, now we had chum for the entire day. So again, I think this is my first dive again of this trip, you know, obviously the next day, but my first dive right out here in 110 feet of water, which is what me and Ben do, what me and Justin do. We got our flasher there. And guys, this dive is freaking devastating. I see this mistake happen quite a bit. You know, this is not an uncommon error. It's something that can definitely be avoided with just a little bit of preparation and just kind of a little bit of care and maintenance of your gear. If you're doing everything right and you're paying attention to your stuff, like, this should not happen. You should not lose fish like this. And this is my least favorite way to lose a fish in the entire world. So I get down here to the bottom. You can see that nice uku ground. I'm on the edge of the reef in the sand, doing my dusting, doing my grunting. Everything looks perfect. Fish comes right in. Nice cheek meat shot here, right through the side of this thing, strings it. And then as he goes off here, right there, I thought the shaft fell out.
No, you're gonna be pissed, bro. You don't have a shaft.
But what actually happened is the line was cut. And whether it was the gill plate on the fish or whether it was bad Dyneema, I should have had some better, harder Dyneema there. This was just what I had at the time. Either way, my mistake. I should have been paying attention to that chafing, and we lost this fish. And I was out of shaft on the beginning of like a 2.5-3 mile drift. We spent some time looking for that shaft, but in 105, 110 feet of water, it's pretty difficult to recover something with any amount of current. And unfortunately, we couldn't find it. I was pretty devastated as a pretty rough start to what could have been a really, really great day of diving. Anytime you go out there, you drop to the bottom, you get an uku right away, like you're looking at a solid day. You know, pressure's off, everything's good. But either way, now it's me and Ben swapping back and forth this big gun that he has, this big wooden gun. And this is the Ben cam right now. He does another 100-foot dive. This is like right after. We had just kind of a ridiculous flurry of fish where every single dive was ukus for like our first 5 dives. So you'll see kind of some of his hunting techniques here. As he gets down, he does a little bit of spinning there, just like I do. Looks around, tries to decide which way to face into the current or where the fish are most likely to be. Gets himself a little elevated spot there on the left so he can put his left hand so he's just a little bit higher, just a little bit more comfy, and he can kind of look around and see what's there. Ben dives without gloves, which I think is completely out of control insane. Like, I have no idea how he's sitting there scratching on those rocks all day long. I don't know what his fingernails look like, but the dude is hardcore, and clearly he can get it done without gloves. It's not something I do or I recommend, but if you can do it, do whatever you do. His camera is just a little bit low here, so he doesn't get the full shot, but you guys get the idea that uku comes right into those dusting and grunting. This technique works no matter who does it, and he lands his first uku of the day. So this is my first drop now with Ben's gun, and I'm not sure exactly who makes this. Some kind of wooden gun. He gets a lot of like prototype testing, whatever guns. So this one wasn't perfectly balanced, and it was definitely like a pound or two heavy in the water. Like it kind of felt like it was dragging me down to the bottom, and it was definitely muzzle heavy. One of the things you notice on kind of like these American style guns is they've got more shaft overhang and thicker shafts. So then they need all that wood and that buoyancy to kind of keep them stable in the water. Whereas, you know, a lot of my European guns are so small and so well balanced. I mean, they feel like a feather in your hand because you have to do so much more of that aguado technique. You have to crawl across the bottom, and that gun has to be a feather in your hand. So that as soon as when you turn a corner and there's a grouper right there, you've got to be able to whip that thing out and stick it real fast before that thing flips his tail and is gone. So this is my first dive with this guy's gun. I get down here to the bottom, and the uku just charges right in, gives me a point-blank shot, and thankfully able to stone this fish with my first shot ever with this gun. And I'm not a wood gun guy. It's not something that, you know, I've used at all really in like the last 5 or 10 years of my diving. But, you know, I'm open to trying all kinds of new guns, and I'm hoping that throughout this year with my new partnership with American Dive Company, I'm going to be trying a lot of crazy cool guns, and I'm going to be showing you guys them right here. And any of the stuff you guys have seen us use in this video, me or Justin, those polo sub suits, those Setma fins, you guys can get that over at American Dive Co. And I've got you guys a discount code down below. It's RMX10 for 10% off your entire spearfishing order.
There we go. Ugly for that one. Yeah.
So we're switching back to the Ben Zyons cam here. Unfortunately, his camera's just a little bit angled down on that paralens. I don't think it's as wide as my GoPro, but you still get the basic idea of a lot of how his hunting style is and kind of what he's doing down here at depth. He does tend to keep that gun up a little bit more than I do, but I can't tell where that fish is. So I don't know how close it is and whether he's, ready for that shot or whether he's just kind of keeping it out there, prepping and waiting for it. But you can see that left hand do its little bit of dusting, its little bit of kind of scratching on the bottom, and just enough to kind of keep that uku curious and be calm enough down there so that that uku thinks that whatever Ben is something that he can come in and maybe get some food from. It's not something to be afraid of.
That's a nice fish right there.
So we switch back to my cam now. This is me diving. This is a really good dive to kind of give you guys a little bit of, one of my theories on big versus small guns. I am a small gun kind of guy. I like to get close to my fish. I like to dive deep. I like to be super maneuverable down there on the bottom. And I like to take close shots. Very rarely do I take a shot that is outside of a single wrap of line. So for me to have this bigger gun, what I find is that it gives you a little bit more confidence in your longer shots, in your range, and it's not necessarily always a good thing. I never would have taken this shot with one of my smaller guns, but because I have this bigger gun in my hand, I take a little bit longer, a little bit riskier shot, and I end up wounding and losing this fish. And what would have happened if I had that pathos in my hand? Would I have waited for another pass for a better shot and potentially landed this fish? Or would I have not taken a shot at all and maybe I do another dive and I get another opportunity at this fish? Or maybe Ben gets to dive next and he gets an opportunity at this fish. But instead, I had that little bit of extra confidence in this longer, more powerful gun. Took a long shot, hit this fish low, had him on for a significant amount of time. I mean, I made it to the surface and this fish was still on. Took most of my reel line, but tore off somewhere in there. And again, this is a mistake that I find that I make when I have those bigger guns, and I see this a lot in people. So we switch back to the Ben Zyons cam here, and this is him down here, 97, 98 feet, just totally chilling. This guy is an absolute monster diver. He's like, I don't even know, like a 100-meter diver, 300 something feet. It's kind of ridiculous the amount of time that he has down here to make decisions and shoot whatever he wants, wherever he wants to shoot it. So he's chilling on the bottom, he's doing his scratching, he's doing his grunting, just like I would do, and waiting to see kind of if any ukus come in or if anything comes in that he wants to eat. And he had told me right before this dive, he's like, I need a couple fish for the walk. I'm going to archery club tonight. I want to fry up some of these, some of these smaller fry fish, papillos, goats, whatever he can find that'll kind of fit whole fried in the walk. And those couple papillos come in, and you can see how he kind of really takes his time to get the shot that he wants. He's in no rush. He wants to make sure he gets a headshot, he lands this fish, he doesn't blast a rock too bad, and he makes this happen. And he does, he takes his time, he gets a shot there, he leaves the Moana collies alone, which I know so many of you out there are like, shoot the collie, but he takes his papillo and he lands another fish.
Woo! That was a freaking dive there. Seriously long drift, exploring new grounds. To me is like what spearfishing is all about right there. That marine soap actually worked. Taking this nohu, taking this uku, going to see Sam, seeing what she's making for dinner. Time to cook up what we got. I don't know what kind of magic Sam has got planned. We got a handful of people coming over. We're doing some kind of, what is it, beer batter tonight?
Yeah, ooh, I need to make that. Beer battered uku, and then we're just gonna
beer battered uku tacos.
Yeah, beer battered uku tacos.
Stoked. Just don't worry about it, I'll just leave it on. Are you ready? Come here.
Look at that fin, he's so cool. Can we keep it?
No.
Come in. Hi.
What's up?
Not poisoned. I remember pouring my first beer.
This is our first attempt, uku beer battered. Oh, that looks right. These things look freaking awesome. Golden brown. I dare say that we did this right. What do you think?
Wow.
I'm more excited for this thing right here than absolutely anything. It looks like a crab or a lobster type like texture. That is it right there, guys. That is freaking special.
That's amazing.
That's ridiculous, right?
That's like the best eating fish.
That's the best eating fish ever.
Have you tried a fish?
No, how's the fish? Did the fish
It's
come out?
good.
They're cooked.
I'm happy.
Get the Hawaiian power bomb.
This would be great.
Taste. Give us a taste. Give us a taste for the people. Right? Next level. First taste. That's pretty awesome, Sam. And the beer battered fish is a whole nother level. That totally changes it. What a fantastic couple days of diving. A fantastic meal here. I have to go. This is gonna take 2 hands to eat this thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, and we'll see you next time right here on Ryan Meyer's Expeditions.